Well, just got home. Looking around, I see our squash is having a heyday. This was actually barely peeking over the side of our grow bed when we left 6 days ago. So, like I said, it's having a nice little heyday. It needs to be tied up maybe right in this area just to hold it up. You'll see some of the older leaves on here that I'd burned with some orange oil by accident. But looking around, here's another one that has grown right over the side. Here's some blooms from our spaghetti squash, and this other squash, by the way, is yellow crookneck squash. This is our spaghetti squash in the corner. Got some corn right behind it. It's actually got a tassel on it. Probably not going to make any corn cob. Our system is just so immature with these plants. I'm not sure what we will or will not get out of it. I have been watching a radish that is probably going to be inedible. But if you look right down in here, if you see that, there's actually a radish right there that, if you look back at some of the older videos, was very, very small and just continues to grow. Again, I think it's going to be inedible when the time comes to pull it, when it gets big enough. But, you know, for the sake of doing it, why not? You also see our lettuce, our romaine lettuce, and some other lettuces. I don't know what all I've got. Cilantro's doing really well. Looks like some either Brussels sprouts or broccoli right here, doing real well. And this is stuff we planted quite a ways back. That's our pepper plants. If anybody can identify this particular pepper plant, we cannot remember the name of it. We've got two of them. We'd love for somebody to tell us what that really is. We've got another spaghetti squash plant here. Looks like I've got some possible, not sure what that is. That may be some powdery white mildew. If it is, I'll have to treat this plant later on. I'm going to go ahead and pull this out and get rid of it. We don't want that spreading to anything else. More cilantro. Let's see, you got some kale right in this area that's doing really well. Our garlic is doing phenomenal. You see, this is our garlic, and if you look back to the videos and pictures, you'll see when we actually planted that. I don't know the date off the top of my head. This grow bed over here was our first grow bed to go up. And if you'll remember, I went in with a river rock that had lime in it. I had to pull all that stuff out. I put together what I called Franken pots, continued to grow those plants, and I put them back in that grow bed. So those particular plants in that grow bed have been through it as much as they could. Moving on over here, you see our Swiss chard is doing really well. This is something we bought that was already growing. Stuck it in here just to see what it would do. And something else I want to look for, I don't see any up yet, but I actually put some white onion cuts down in here. Again, I don't see any coming up yet, but we'll keep a watch on that. And this grow bed right here has got some white onions that have just been cut off, stuck down in there to see if they would grow, just to test it and see how it works. And as they do or do not come up, we'll let you know. Our chives right here, they've been harvested once, doing really well, coming back up. Some more, looks like broccoli right here that came out of this seed testing media that we were playing with. And you remember, I actually pulled up and transplanted all of our lettuce out of here except for 4. And we've got this one that's actually sizable that needs to be transplanted now. I've got 3 more here that are just kind of lagging along rather slow. And if you look out here at these other lettuces and tomato plant, if you look at the last picture we took of this, or the last video, you'll see that tomato plant was quite a bit smaller. The lettuces also were much, much smaller. So they're coming along really, really well. This corn right in the corner, it's doing really well. Let's move on over here and see what we see, because I see lots of blooms on these squash plants. I've got everything intertwined. I've still got to build my trellis. I just haven't had time. And look at all these blooms out here. Isn't that fantastic? Look at that. So I'm really hoping soon that we're going to start seeing some yellow crookneck squash come up on these plants and start producing. Now the problem we're going to have is the fact that this system is so immature. It's so new that we haven't had a chance for things to build up down at the bottom to give us this huge boost of nutrients that you expect to have. I'm going to go ahead and walk around the outside. Just get a little better look at things. And you can see I need to do a little cleanup here. I've got some leaves that have died and fallen off. Got a pine needle that's blown into the greenhouse here. Get rid of that. And that's from our local pine trees here. And the thing is, I haven't enclosed the outside of the greenhouse. I'm actually outside shooting back in right now. So that's one of those things we've got to get done. Moving on around, this tomato plant right here is actually doing very well. Again, it's a little bit leggy. That has to do probably with the lack of nutrients. It's doing everything it can to get nutrients. But here's another yellow crookneck squash that has grown right over the side of the grow bed. So we're going to utilize all this space we can outside of the grow bed with these yellow crookneck squashes until we get our trellis going. Then we'll go ahead and train those to go right up the trellis. Let's see if I can get back inside the greenhouse now. And you'll see a lot of you I've seen on the website or on Facebook lately have been asking about water flow. That's how much water flow I actually have, which is not a whole lot. It could actually be turned down more. It's actually a little bit heavy for what we want. And one of the things I want you to do when you're going out to your grow bed every day and you're just looking at things, whether you're testing the water or not, put your hand in this water. Make sure you don't have any contaminants on your hand like mosquito repellent or anything else that's toxic to our fish or our plants. But get that on your hand, then just raise it up, smell that, and make sure it's nice and clean smelling. If it's nice and clean smelling, most likely you're in good shape as far as your water levels go. And pretty much if you have a problem, it's going to tell you right there quicker than anywhere else. And what did I just see? Looky right there. That looks like we've got something growing. So we're going to keep an eye on that. That's our first confirmed squash. So we will watch that very closely and see how it comes along over the next week or so. Again, in this immature system, I'm just not sure how well it's going to do. In the more mature systems, they do really well. I do want to point out one thing. You'll notice I've got some leaves that are dying. That's not something we're going to throw away. We will actually add that to our worm compost pile, which we have outside the greenhouse, for two reasons. One, we harvest worms non-stop to feed the fish. We also use that compost pile to create worm castings, and we use those worm castings on our potted plants, you know, flowers and what have you around the area, just to keep them going really well. Now I'm going to scoot back around here to the grow bed with the seed testing media in it. And I want you to notice I've actually got my auto siphon dismantled right now, keeping the grow bed full. I've flooded the grow bed, and there's a specific reason for that. You'll notice I've used lava rock for everything, and I have found through my testing with lava rock that it's much easier to plant in it if you have the grow bed full of water. So that's something I do before I start transplanting any plants into a grow bed. I go ahead and flood it, let it stay flooded for a while, then I start transplanting, and when I'm done transplanting, I'll go ahead and restart the siphon, which is as simple as dropping the siphon in, and you'll see it won't take long, and that siphon will pick up and go. But I'm going to go ahead and pull that siphon back out because I want to keep the grow bed full so that I can transplant these plants, and then we'll pull it back out here in about 20 or 30 minutes when I'm done. Alright folks, if you got any questions, please post them. If you're seeing this on YouTube but you didn't find us on Facebook, come join us on Facebook. Just search True Aquaponics. You'll find us, put in a request to join, and we will definitely add you. We'd love to have as many members as we can get. That keeps the knowledge going around. If you got questions, post them. If you got an answer for somebody else with a question, by all means post that. We'd love to have it.